All right, let's just jump right in. We are talking about the world of data profiling here in 2026. But look, this is not just some dry technical update. The thing is, AI has completely changed the rules of the game. And suddenly, knowing your data, really knowing it, becomes the #1 line of defense for your entire business.
Just let that sink in for a second. We are way past the days where a bad data point just, messed up a dashboard. Now, that exact same piece of bad data can actively fool your most advanced AI systems. It can turn your biggest asset into, well, a pretty massive liability. The stakes have just gotten incredibly high.
So, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to pull back the curtain on that hidden vulnerability. We're going to explore why our most powerful, most expensive tools can be so surprisingly fragile. And, more importantly, we're going to talk about what you can actually do to protect them. This is all about how we move from being at risk to being truly resilient.
To really get our heads around this problem, let's walk through a scenario that, believe me, is becoming way too common. It's one of those situations where the systems you trust the most end up telling you the biggest lies.
Now, this is not science fiction. This is the reality of 2026. Just picture it. Your fancy large language model fed a steady stream of garbage data, confidently telling your CEO that everything is amazing, while in reality the business is completely tanking. The AI isn't evil, right? It's just confidently wrong, because the data it was built on was basically poison.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, we've built these incredibly smart, sophisticated models. So how on earth can they be so easily tricked? Well, the answer isn't in the model itself. It's in the one thing it's completely dependent on, the data.
Okay, so to fix this, we have to go back to basics. Data profiling, it's not some brand new flashy concept, but in the age of AI, it has shot back into the spotlight as maybe the single most important first step you can take to keep things safe and reliable. So, what is it, really? Think of it like a complete physical, a full diagnostic health check for your data. Before you let your AI touch any of it, profiling is the process that scans that data to understand its shape, its quality, its weird quirks, everything. It is the absolute bedrock of trust. And this process, it really boils down to 3 key stages. First up is structure discovery. This is the basic stuff, asking, does this data even look right? Like, is a date column actually full of dates? Then you move on to content discovery, which digs a little deeper and asks, does the data make sense? It's looking for weird outliers or empty values that could throw everything off. And finally, and this is so important for complex systems, there's relationship discovery. It asks, how does all this data connect? It's making sure the whole system fits together. These 3 steps, they give you that complete 360-degree view of your data's health.
But here's the plot twist. You see, having a great diagnostic report is one thing, but if you don't actually do anything with it, what's the point? And this, right here, is the fatal flaw in most of the tools we're using today.
This is the absolute heart of the issue. A lot of these really great open source tools, they were built for an older era. An era of human analysis. They produce these beautiful, detailed reports that tell you what's wrong, they give you insight. But that's where they stop. They diagnose the disease, but they don't give you the medicine that our automated AI systems desperately need. And this just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have profiling insight. It describes things, it identifies problems, it gives you visibility. That's the diagnosis. But what AI needs, what we need now, is hygiene action. We need to enforce quality, prevent failures, and provide real safety. That's the treatment. Without the action, insight is just, well, it's just a report.
So don't just take my word for it. Let's look at the proof. When you actually survey the open source landscape right now, you can see just how massive this gap between insight and action has become.
The evidence is pretty clear. When you start to map out what the most popular tools can actually do, a really stark pattern emerges. There's a world of difference between tools that are good at describing your data and the tools that can actively protect the AI systems that depend on it. Just take a look at this table with me. You've got tools like Y-Data Profiling and DQ, which are amazing for that initial deep dive, for giving you a rich description of your data. Then there's Great Expectations, which is a super powerful way to manually write your own data rules. But then you look at that last column, the one for automatically generating those protective hygiene checks based on the profile, and, well, you start to see a lot of empty space, don't you? And there's the punchline, 0.
For most of these tools, the number of automated, ready-to-use quality checks they generate from their own insights is a big fat zero. They are fantastic at showing you the fire, but they don't hand you a fire extinguisher.
So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we bridge that gap? The whole solution is about creating a direct line from the diagnosis to the cure. It's about turning those passive insights into active automated protection. And this is where we're seeing a real breakthrough. Let's take a tool like DataOps Data Quality Test Gen as an example of this new approach. It was built specifically to close that gap, to look at the data profile and then automatically generate the quality tests you need to enforce data hygiene. It's a system that finally connects the insight directly to the action.
So what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means the system automatically creates checks for nulls, for duplicates, for weird patterns, for changes in your data's distribution, the whole shebang. This transforms profiling from a one-off report into what you could call predictive protection. It's a non-stop automated shield that protects your AI systems without you having to hire a team of engineers to sit there writing manual tests all day.
Now, this isn't really about just one tool. This is about a fundamental shift in how we have to think about data quality now that we're in the AI era. The old way of doing things, it just isn't safe anymore.
This right here is the new rule book. It's that simple. If you want your AI to be safe, its data has to be clean. And with the speed and the sheer amount of data we're dealing with today, the only way to guarantee that is through automation. Manual checks just can't keep up, no way.
So we have to start thinking about this differently. A profiling report that doesn't trigger automated action is not just an unhelpful PDF. It's actually a form of technical debt. It's a risk you are knowingly taking on, and it makes your AI and your business more fragile with every passing day. And that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. I want you to look at your own tools, your own processes. Are they just creating more dashboards, more reports, more visibility into problems that nobody has time to fix? Or are they building an automated, resilient shield that creates genuine safety for your AI? Because the answer to that question is going to define who wins in this new era.